What if the happiest country on Earth isn't actually trying to be happy at all? For 7 consecutive years, Finland has topped the world's happiness rankings, a title that conjures images of a serene, smiling utopia. But when you arrive, you don't find a society of perpetual joy. You find something quieter, deeper, and far more complex. You find a nation forged in ice and silence, whose national character is defined not by the pursuit of happiness, but by a gritty, stoic endurance. This isn't a journey to a cold paradise. This is an investigation into the soul of a nation, to uncover the secrets of its resilience, its contradictions, and the quiet philosophy that allows it to thrive on the edge of the world. Forget what you think you know. We're going to unravel the real story of Finland. The first thing you notice in Helsinki isn't overt happiness. It's a sense of calm, functional order. People give you space, maintaining a personal bubble that feels vast compared to other cultures. They don't engage in idle, small talk at bus stops. At first, it can feel cold, distant, even unwelcoming. This is the first and most crucial clue that the Finnish concept of onni, happiness, is wildly different from the Western ideal. It's not about outward expression or boisterous joy. It's about the profound absence of chronic stress, a quiet, internal state of contentment. The world media often points to the headline, a per capita GDP of over 50,000. But that number is a symptom, not the cause. Attributing Finnish contentment to money is a fundamental misunderstanding. The real foundation of this equilibrium is a single, powerful, and almost invisible force, and laudamus: trust. Finns have an exceptionally high level of trust in their government, in their police, in their institutions, and most importantly, in each other. According to the European Social Survey, Finland consistently reports one of the highest levels of social trust on the continent. In 2022, a global lost wallet test was conducted by Reader's Digest across 16 cities. Helsinki came out on top, with 11 out of 12 wallets returned to their owner, cash and all. This isn't just a charming anecdote, it's a data point that reveals the very fabric of the society. This trust is the bedrock that allows the famous Nordic model to function. It's a social contract, and Finns take their side of the bargain seriously. Yes, they pay some of the highest taxes in the world, with a progressive income tax rate that can exceed 50%. But this isn't seen as a burden in the same way it might be elsewhere. It's seen as a collective investment in a shared quality of life. In return for their contributions, citizens receive a system designed to systematically eliminate the fundamental anxieties of modern existence. Let's be specific. Education, from a child's first day in preschool to the completion of a PhD, is completely free. Healthcare is universal and high quality, meaning a sudden illness or accident won't lead to financial ruin. If you lose your job, a robust social safety net provides unemployment benefits that allow you to live with dignity while you find new work. And when a child is born, the state doesn't just offer generous parental leave for both parents, it provides the famous äitiyspakkausi, the maternity box. For over 80 years, every expectant mother has received this box from the government. It contains a complete starter kit for a newborn: clothes, blankets, bathing products, and even a small mattress, turning the box itself into the baby's first bed. This simple cardboard box is a powerful, tangible symbol of the social contract. From the moment you are born, society is invested in your well-being. This system creates a freedom from worry that is the true definition of Finnish happiness. It's the knowledge that your children will get a world-class education regardless of your income. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing you and your loved ones are cared for. This leads to a very different outlook on life, one beautifully captured by a Finnish proverb, Kel, onion, sionen kade tikon, which roughly translates to, "He who has happiness should hide it." It speaks to a culture that values humility and sees boasting as a profound weakness. They aren't happy because they have everything. They are content because they don't need to live in constant fear of losing the things that truly matter. This quiet confidence is the first, and perhaps most important, layer of the Finnish enigma. To truly understand the Finnish psyche, you have to leave the tidy, functional streets of Helsinki and venture into the two places where the nation's soul resides, the vast, silent forest, and the searing heat of the sauna. There's a word in Finnish that has no direct English translation, yet it is the key that unlocks everything. That word is sisu. Sisu is not just courage or resilience. It is a form of grim, determined, stoic perseverance. It is the intestinal fortitude to keep going when all rational hope seems lost. It's the spirit that allowed 300 Zalosen ill-equipped Finnish soldiers to hold off over 1 million Soviet invaders during the brutal, freezing winter war of 1939-1940. It's the silent resolve you see in their Formula One drivers like Kimi, Arti, Ikit-Nen, the Iceman, or their legendary rally drivers who navigate treacherous forest roads with unnerving calm. It's the grit required to build a global tech giant like Nokia from a humble 19th century rubber factory. Sisu is a national superpower, an internal combustion engine fueled by a long history of hardship, of living in a demanding and often unforgiving climate, and of being wedged for centuries between larger, often hostile powers. And there is no better place to witness Sisu in practice than the sauna. The statistic is famous: over 3 million saunas for a population of 5.5 million. It's more than a hobby, it's a sacred, quasi-religious ritual. A Finnish motto says, "A house without a sauna is not a home." But the Western image of a sauna as a luxury spa, a place for light conversation, is a pale imitation. The traditional Finnish sauna, often a small, rustic wooden hut by a lake, is a place of profound ritual. It is dimly lit and heated to blistering temperatures, often over 80 degrees C, 176 degrees F, sometimes reaching 100 degrees C, 220 degrees F. Inside, there is an unspoken rule of silence or quiet, respectful conversation. It's a place for stripping away the non-essential, both literally and figuratively. Titles, ranks, and social hierarchies are left at the door with your clothes. Then comes the core of the ritual, throwing water on the hot stones, the low line, which releases a wave of intense, cleansing steam that seems to penetrate to your very core. You sit, you sweat, you endure the heat, and you might use a vasta or vita, a bundle of fresh birch twigs, to gently whip your skin, a practice that stimulates circulation and releases an incredible, fresh aroma. Then, when you can bear the heat no longer, you do what seems insane to an outsider. You walk out into the freezing air and plunge into an icy lake through a hole cut in the ice, an avanto. The thermal shock is breathtaking, a violent jolt to the system that forces every cell in your body awake. It leaves you feeling intensely, almost painfully, alive. This cycle of extreme heat and extreme cold, repeated several times, is not just for physical health. It's a mental reset. It's a voluntary act of hardship that builds tolerance and inner strength. The sauna is the training ground for Sisu. It's where Finns quietly forge and reaffirm the resilience they carry into every aspect of their lives. Over 73% of Finland is covered by forest. It's not just a pretty backdrop, it is the nation's primary source of economic wealth, spiritual solace, and creative inspiration. This profound connection to nature is legally codified in one of the most remarkable concepts of public law, in the world Jokamia Noikias, or everyman's right. This ancient tradition, now law, grants everyone, citizen or tourist, the right to roam freely in nature. You can walk, ski, and camp for a short time, almost anywhere. You can forage for wild berries and mushrooms, a popular national pastime, regardless of who owns the land. But this is not a license for a free, for all. It comes with an implicit and deeply understood set of responsibilities. Do not disturb, do not destroy. You take nothing but pictures and berries, you leave nothing but footprints. It is a system built on mutual respect between people and nature, a stark contrast to the trespass laws and private property obsessions of many other nations. It is a legal expression of the belief that nature is a shared inheritance, a public good. This deep respect for nature, for honesty of materials, and for functionality directly informs one of Finland's greatest cultural exports, something the original video missed entirely: Finnish design. Walk into any Finnish home and you will see it. It is a style defined by a clean, minimalist aesthetic, by functionality over ornamentation, and by a deep love for natural materials like birch wood, wool, and glass. It's not about cold, sterile modernism. It's about creating a sense of warmth, harmony, and timelessness. The legendary architect and designer Alvar Aalto is the father of this movement. He argued against the cold, hard lines of early modernism, seeking to create organic forms that served human needs. Look at his world-famous Savoy vase from 1936. Its flowing, asymmetrical shape is said to be inspired by the thousands of Finnish lakes, a piece of the landscape brought indoors. It's beautiful, but it's also perfectly functional. Aalto believed that even the smallest object should be designed with the user's physical and psychological comfort in mind. You see this philosophy everywhere. In the simple, timeless glassware of Itala, where designer Kaj Frank's Tema dinnerware, created in 1952, is based on three simple forms: circle, square, rectangle, and is still a bestseller today. It's designed to be mixed, matched, and used for a lifetime, the antithesis of disposable consumer culture. You see it in the bold, joyful patterns of Marimekko. Its most famous print, the Unico Poppy, was designed in 1964 by Maija Isola in an act of creative rebellion, as the company's founder had banned all floral designs. The poppy became a global symbol of optimism and fearless creativity. Finnish design is the urban expression of the same spirit you find in the silent forests. It is pragmatic, honest, and finds profound beauty and meaning in depth simplicity. Finland's education system is legendary, and for good reason. For decades, it has consistently ranked among the best in the world on international assessments like PISA. But its remarkable success comes from a philosophy that is radically, almost subversively, different from the high-pressure, test-driven systems common elsewhere. Here, the journey begins gently. Formal schooling starts at age 7, later than in most countries. The school days are shorter, often ending around 1 or 2 p.m., leaving ample time for play, hobbies, and family. Homework is minimal to non-existent, especially in the early grades. The entire system is built on a simple, powerful idea: less is more. The focus is not on rote memorization or teaching to the test, but on fostering innate curiosity, critical thinking, and collaboration. The structure itself is profoundly egalitarian. There are no private schools siphoning off the wealthy. All schools are public and equally funded. There are no high-stakes standardized tests until the national matriculation exam at the very end of high school. The system runs on a high-trust, low-control model. The Ministry of Education trusts the municipalities. The municipalities trust the schools. The principals trust the teachers. And most importantly, the teachers trust the students. Teachers in Finland are among the most respected and highly qualified professionals in the country. The profession is incredibly competitive, attracting the top 10% of university graduates, and all teachers must hold a master's degree. They are given immense autonomy in the classroom to tailor their teaching to the needs of their students, using a flexible national framework, rather, a rigid, top-down script. The goal is to create self-directed, responsible, and well-rounded individuals, not just academic machines. But this pursuit of a perfectly rational, equitable society has a deep and troubling shadow. The original video touched on a deeply uncomfortable truth. For a country so happy, Finland has historically struggled with some of the highest rates of depression and suicide in the Western world. While massive, successful public health campaigns have caused these rates to fall by more than 50% since their tragic peak in 1990, the issue remains a sensitive and painful part of the national consciousness. The reasons are a complex, interwoven tapestry. The long, dark winters and lack of sunlight, which can cause seasonal affective disorder, CSD, are certainly a contributing factor. But the culture itself plays a role. The same sisu that fosters incredible resilience can also become a burden. A stoicism that makes it difficult for people, especially men, to admit vulnerability and seek help for mental health issues. There is also the challenge of social isolation. In a culture that highly values personal space and quiet, it can be difficult to forge deep connections, and loneliness can be a silent epidemic. And finally, some sociologists suggest a more philosophical cause. In a society where the state provides for almost every basic need, and where you can achieve material comfort relatively early in life, some individuals face an existential void. When the struggle for survival is removed, what is the purpose of it all? When a society is engineered to be this perfect, the personal feeling of imperfection can become unbearable. It's the profound, heartbreaking paradox at the very heart of the Finnish utopia. You cannot understand modern Finland without understanding its precarious geography. For centuries, it was not a country but a territory, a battleground, a buffer state caught between the expanding Swedish kingdom to the west and the massive Russian Empire to the east. It was an integral part of Sweden for 600 years, which shaped its laws, religion, and social structures. Then, after a war in 1809, it became an autonomous Grand Duchy within the Russian Empire for over a century, a period that allowed its own unique national identity to flourish before it finally declared independence amidst the chaos of the Russian Revolution in 1917. This history has instilled a deep-seated pragmatism and a cautious, hyper-aware relationship with its powerful neighbor. The ghost of the Winter War looms largest. It was a brutal conflict where Finland, against all odds, preserved its independence, but lost significant territory. The memory of that struggle is etched into the landscape itself. All across Helsinki, there are discrete signs pointing to Esten Suja, civil defense shelters. The city sits on a vast network of tunnels and hardened bunkers, capable of housing nearly its entire population. This subterranean world, complete with playgrounds, sports facilities, and even a church, is a stark, permanent reminder of a threat that never truly disappeared. For decades after World War II, Finland navigated a delicate and often criticized balancing act known as Finlandization. It was a policy of strategic neutrality, a pragmatic choice to maintain its market economy and democratic system while carefully avoiding any action that provoked the Soviet Union. Its foreign policy was, in effect, constrained by Moscow. But the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022 shattered that long-held policy in an instant. The pragmatism that once dictated neutrality now demanded a radically different course. The shift in public opinion was seismic. Before the invasion, popular support for joining NATO had hovered around 20–30% for decades. Within weeks, it skyrocketed to over 75%, in a historic move that would have been unthinkable just months earlier. Finland abandoned its military non-alignment and officially joined NATO in April 2023. This was not a rash decision. It was a clear-eyed, calculated move by a nation that intimately knows its history and its geography. It was the ultimate modern expression of Sisu facing a new, dangerous reality with grim determination and taking the necessary steps to secure its future. Standing on the coast of the Baltic Sea, looking east across the 340-kilometer of 830-mile border it now shares with Russia as a NATO frontline state, you can feel the immense weight of that history and the profound significance of that decision. Finland is safer than it has ever been, but it has entered a new, uncertain chapter in its long story of survival on the edge of an empire. So, we return to where we began. Finland. It is not a simple happy-go-lucky paradise. It is a land of profound, challenging contrasts, of blinding summer light and deep winter darkness, of pristine nature and innovative technology, of communal trust and fierce individualism. It is a nation that has engineered a society of incredible stability and safety, yet one whose soul was forged in hardship, silence, and solitude. Its famous happiness is not found in constant laughter, but in the quiet confidence of knowing you can endure whatever comes next. It's a lesson in resilience, a masterclass in building a society on trust, and a powerful reminder that the most compelling places on Earth are never the ones that can be understood at a single glance. What surprised you the most about the real story of Finland? Share your thoughts or questions in the comments below. If this journey opened up a new perspective for you, please share this video with a fellow traveler who loves to look deeper than the surface. And subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most fascinating and misunderstood places. Thank you for exploring with me.